Alrighty, what do we have today? Surely nothing crazy and outlandish. It's Bendy and the Ink Machine? Nope, I'm out of here. I don't get paid enough for this. Actually, I don't get paid at all. Okay, I'm back, but only for the sake of the timeline. Listen, man, at least it's less complicated than the Five Nights at Freddy's timeline. I'm looking at you, time-traveling ball pit. Now, without further ado, the Bendy and the Ink Machine storyline. Spoiler warning for the game Bendy and the Ink Machine and the books and mini-games that have come off of that, so if you have not played any of those and want to play any of those without spoiler warnings, please click off of this video now, because I talk about, every part of the Bendy series. Let's go back to the beginning. Joey Drew was born in 1901. Okay. I'm kidding, not that far back. No, this storyline really starts in the year 1922, when Joey meets the protagonist/player character Henry Stein, and in 1929 the pair founded and established the infamous Joey Drew Studios. You know, that should have been red flag number 1 for Henry, that Joey wanted all the credit, but maybe he thought it would be an even, fair partnership. If that was his assumption, he's very quickly proven wrong, as shown by a hidden voice message in Chapter 3. This message from Henry states, only 2 weeks into this company and already it's gotten interesting. Joey is a man of ideas, and only ideas. This shows that Henry is quick to get fed up with Joey's behavior. I mean, he says, when I agreed to start this whole thing with him, I thought there would be a little more give and take. Instead, I give, and he takes. Henry was obviously so fed up with this that he decided to give Joey one more thing. A note saying he would be leaving the studio, less than a year after it was created. Before he left, however, he designed the titular character Bendy and his sidekick, Boris, who definitely isn't a Goofy knockoff. I mean, listen, Goofy is a dog and Boris is a wolf. It's not like you give Boris a bone, and it's not like you get the achievement knick-knack paddywhack as a result. No. Wait, listen, I know it's suspicious, but that would make Bendy Mickey, and that's simply not true. Haha. Holy shit, I'm Bendy! In 1930, the concept for Bendyland is created, and it's a roller coaster from here on out. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. It's a 90-degree drop straight down to hell. Six Flags could never. In 1931, Joey Drew hires Sammy Lawrence. On a side note, my best friend since for Sammy Lawrence, which is just downright concerning. And on August 2nd of 1932, Susie Campbell records her first voice message to her mom, where she mentions a new character they're working on that might require a feminine touch. That character is none other than Alice Angel. On September 12th of the following year, Alice Angel premiered, earning her an article in the Erie Times. This article can be found in the Joey Drew Employee Handbook. In 1935, the Butcher Gang is first premiered, joining the other three in comics and cartoons throughout the years. In 1940, things truly take a turn for the worse as Bertram Piedmont begins production on Bendyland. In 1943, Joey, determined to make lifelike creatures to serve as mascots for his park, hires the Gent Company to build the Ink Machine. The Gent Company's representative, Thomas Connor, meets Joey Drew down in the sewers, away from everyone else, to discuss their plans. Unfortunately for them, they're discovered by Jack Fane, in a voice message you can find on the Joey Drew Studios YouTube channel, in which he says, "Something stinks." The thing that stinks would probably be what they were planning down there. Remember that 90-degree drop into hell I mentioned earlier? Yeah, here it is. Human sacrifices. My favorite. And I wish I could say this is just a theory, but unfortunately it is 100% confirmed in the spin-off book Dreams Come True. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Now would be a fun time to mention we aren't even at the plot of the main game yet. Anyways, between the years of 1944 and 1946, the first living ink demon is made in an attempt to create Bendy, the little trickster. However, it doesn't go as planned and Bendy comes out creepy and demented, like the version we see in the game. However, this Bendy is docile, as proven by Joey Drew's voice message in Chapter 5, which states, "And whatever that grinning thing was I saw wandering around your office, you better keep it locked up tight." Why would they let a hostile creature wander freely? After this, they lock Bendy away in the cartoon room from the 5th chapter, forcing him to watch cartoons of himself every day in hopes that he will become more like his source material. This, however, only led to increasing levels of hostility from the creature, which, fair enough, that's the same way my dad reacts when we try to get him to watch Disney movies. This voice memo also led to the second half of the studio's downfall. We hear Joey say, "And in response to your previous memo, if you claim these failures are because these things are soulless, then damn it, we'll get them a soul. After all, I own thousands of them. In this same time period, Alison Pendle is hired, and she takes over the role of voicing Alice Angel, a role that previously belonged to Susie Campbell. Susie is understandably bitter, as she was very attached to the role, but it's made even worse by the fact that she finds out by walking in on Sammy Lawrence helping Allison record lines. Oh, did you know that Susie and Sammy had a little demonic office romance going on? Heartbreak and demotion all in one. Anyways, after this, Susie is called to a meeting with Joey Drew where he calls her Alice, and she likes it. I would say that's red flag number 2, but it's more like 50. Also, Susie is a walking red flag as well, so all's well that ends well, except this doesn't end well, because Susie is promptly sacrificed to bring Alice from the game to life. If you beat the game, then scan the coffins in Chapter 2, you can actually see one of them with her name on it in invisible ink. Then we get to 1946, where the book Dreams Come True takes place. It features an old character in a new font named Buddy Lewick. Early in September, Sammy Lawrence mysteriously vanishes. A short time later, Joey announces the opening of Bendyland. Thomas Connor protests by stealing the ink machine, resulting in both him and future wife Alison Pendle being fired. Later in the book, we learn Sammy has gone insane from ingesting too much ink and is becoming the Sammy from the game. Norman Polk, or the Projectionist, is sacrificed, among others, during a ritual, and Buddy is murdered by Bendy at the ritual site before Joey brings him back as our favorite inky companion, Buddy Boris. By 1959, the studio is fully bankrupt. There's a game called Boris in the Dark Survival that depicts Boris going around and accidentally summoning/releasing everyone, if you want some additional little lore things. But that brings us to the start of the main game and our big theory. Henry is an ink demon himself. Now, hear me out here. The main game is essentially there to direct you through a series of tasks and slowly reveal to you the storyline I just explained. But there are a few very important things that tie into this theory. Evidence number 1, the colors. Throughout the game, you're playing in this weird sepia-colored world coated in ink until the very end of Chapter 5, where you come to in Joey Drew's apartment in full color. The end credit scene also shows that tucked away in the garage is the ink machine, the only thing in sepia color in his entire house. Which leads me to believe that Chapters 1 through 5 take place within the confines of the ink machine. Evidence number 2, Chapter 1. At the end of Chapter 1, we walk into a room with a very strange pentagram in it. When you step into the center of the pentagram, the room starts violently shaking, and you see some images flash on the screen, after which you pass out. Now, anytime you die, you wake up in a tunnel of ink with eerie voices whispering at you from all around, which sounds stunningly similar to the buzzing, screaming well of voices Alice Angel claims to spawn from, suggesting that at least inside the machine, you are made of ink. Evidence number 3, the contents of Joey Drew's apartment. I already mentioned the ink machine, but also within Joey's apartment is a letter from Alison Pendle, where she states she is sorry to hear that the studio closed down, and that her and Thomas Connor are doing well. This is odd, however, because we see Thomas and Allison elsewhere in the game, in the form of Tommy Boris and Allison Angel, who act as our guides in the 5th chapter. However, Allison and Tommy are unique in that they aren't hostile, and they go by their real names, a combination of traits only afforded to this pair, or in other words, the ones that got away. Evidence number 4, the time loop. After Joey gives his speech, he ushers us through a door that takes us back to the start of Chapter 1, this time with the addition of a seeing eyeglass that allows us to see hidden messages along the wall that we wrote to ourselves in past time loops, including a series of ticks on the wall that suggest we've been at this a long time. Evidence number 5, dreams come true. In the book, Thomas steals the ink machine, which results in him being fired. But think about this for a moment. The ink machine in the game is huge, and there is no feasible way to steal it without completely deconstructing it, meaning that he likely stole the one that currently resides in Joey's apartment. This also means that Bendy, Ink Sammy, and the sacrifices all happened in the real world. So as my theory stands, Joey trapped his inky creations within the ink machine to protect the outside world, or more likely his reputation, and when the studio shut down, he took the machine with him. Then one day he called up Henry and asked to talk. He then sacrificed Henry and sent him into the machine, forcing him to relive the same time loop over and over in hopes of reaching some objective. What that objective is, I don't know, but hopefully we'll find out in the Dark Revival. If you made it to the end of the video or you like these theories, you should consider subscribing or leaving a like or a comment or something like that, because I do like to talk theories. So if you want to leave a comment and talk theories, I'm always down to talk, unless I'm at work or school. Then I can't talk.